At the beginning of my journey, I threw out the idea of the Biking the World book club, and the first book would be the book Earth Abides. Now, I listened to this on audiobook as I was biking through Alaska, and here are my general thoughts about it. It's about a story about a guy who basically lives up in the mountains, and when he comes down, he realizes everybody's gone and they've all actually died off. And the first part is his journey across what was the former United States of America, looking for survivors and looking for some form of civilization. He meets a few people along the way, but he keeps on moving. He eventually goes back to his home. He makes it all the way. He started in San Francisco. He goes all the way to New York. And then he comes all the way back. And once he gets there, he actually starts his own little settlement. He meets somebody and he starts his own little family there. And that's the beginning of part one. And then part two is the whole journey as his little society there. And then part three is the very end of his life. I'm not giving anything away there, but that is part three. So here's my general thoughts. I love part one. I love when he's going across the country, seeing old things that we might recognize, you know, places from Route 66. It was written in the it was supposed to take place in the late 1940s. So you have places like Route 66 and just great places that you sort of see in the distance. And this was a great book to listen to while I was on the road, because as I left Anchorage and kept going further and further away, it became more desolate, more isolated. Also, I would come across little places like the Igloo. You might have seen this photo. The Igloo is this old place. It actually never opened up, but it's all boarded up. I saw a lot of places like this, and it was very similar to what I was listening to in the book. So I love part one. Part two was good, but a little boring, if I say so myself. It was all really good and exciting, but it was just very slow, very tedious, really got into his mindset. And there's two major themes in this book that I thought just worked really well for the environment that I'm going through. The number one is worrying. This guy worried all the time, particularly in part two, about the future of his society and sort of the worrisome versus don't worry about it, it all works out. And that's a big theme on the road here. I tend to be somebody who wants to make sure everything's planned out, and I don't want to worry too much. But when you're on the road, you've got to sort of let things sort of happen. Even tonight, I didn't know exactly where I was going to camp. It took a while to find a spot, but I started looking for a spot. I finally find it. It all works itself out. It all does okay. So that was a big theme in this book that I really, really liked. Another theme in this book that worked great for my journey is this idea of before the big disease that took out the population in the book, mankind was sort of the dominant force in the world. Afterwards, it became part of the world again, an equal part of the world. And that's also a big part of this journey in Alaska. You see so much beauty, so many great things, but at the same time, all these glaciers are melting away, and all this great beauty is losing itself to climate change and all these other forces that are of mankind's forces. So even though I've experienced an amount of beauty here in Alaska, it is all part of climate change. And if we start looking at these things, it's not gonna, the way it is now isn't gonna be here, you know, forever. So I thought that was a real big theme in that book, and it also came very true towards the end. All these things sort of came together. Part three, the final American, I thought was actually very strong, very strong. So anyway, that's my overall review on Earth Abides by George C. Stewart. Is that right? Maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head. You'll see the book cover and that'll confirm it. But yeah, I believe it's George C. Stewart. Anyway, Earth Abides, that's great. A few other books I'm going to be reading along the way on my way to Dawson City. I'm trying to read White Fang and reread The Call of the Wild. Takes a while for me to get through audiobooks while I'm biking, because music really keeps me going if I'm doing, and sometimes it's just nice to listen to nothing and listen to the world around you because it's so quiet here. But I'm trying to listen to those. Jack London has a cabin at Dawson City, so if you want to listen to any of those, you can, or read those, and I'll find a book and hopefully be able to upload some files for anybody who wants to listen and do a review for something down the road. So once I get to Dawson City, I'll try and find a book for you guys and upload it to a thing. And if you're interested, just go to the website. You can email me and I'll send you the link to where you can get the audio files if you want to listen to it as an audio book. Otherwise, I'm sure you can find it as a book, a digital book, however you'd like to do it. Anyway, guys, Earth Abides, George C. Scott. overall thumbs up from me. On the road, I'm Harrison Brown, Biking in the World Book Club.